A few weeks ago I showed you guys how you could use two fairly beginner tactics to get used to trading over on Betfair. I showed you guys the under 2.5 goal method and the laying the draw method. I also promised in that video that I would show you either a recovery method for one of the strategies and an insurance strategy for the other. So I've already got the video out there and done for how you can potentially recover the under 2.5 goal trade if that goes wrong. But today I'm going to be showing you guys one of the insurance methods that you can get for the laying the draw strategy. Now, for those of you who are new to the channel, I am by no means an advanced Betfair trader. I do it for a bit of fun, and whenever I come to teach you guys a strategy, what I do is I do a little bit of research on it. I try using the strategy myself, and I try and decide myself if I think it's worthwhile doing for a beginner or if it's a bit too complex for a beginner or anything like that. But if you see a strategy that I show you guys and you think you want to try that strategy out yourself, I would 100% recommend that you go and watch some other videos on the strategy or do some other reading on the strategy just so you fully understand it before you get going, because I am a beginner at this, so there may be things that I have missed or misinterpreted. It's the whole point of this channel. I come into anything Betfair trading, dropshipping, everything as a beginner, try to see how easy it is to pick up from the off, and then if it's nice and simple, we'll keep learning it, get more advanced at it and see how much money you can make online. If it's a bit more complex, we'll probably push it on the back burner. So if you're interested in making some money online, or you're just interested in beginner Betfair strategies, then please be sure to hit the subscribe button down below. And if you already have done, then please hit the like button too, because that makes a huge difference and I'll always be very grateful for it. But like I said, today I'm going to be showing you guys the laying the draw insurance method. So in case you didn't watch the last video, I'll quickly explain to you what the laying the draw method is. So if I just get up a random football game here on Betfair, and if we were to come over and lay the draw, let's say we were going to put £10 to get £10 worth of profit, you can see here we would be putting up £34 worth of liability, and this trade would work if either of the teams ended up winning the game. Laying the draw is basically saying you don't want it to be a draw. You want one team to go on and win. Now with Betfair trading, you don't normally look for the result, so you're not going to put that on and leave it for the whole game and then come back and hope someone's won, I should say. What you're going to be doing is waiting for someone to grab a goal in the game, ideally the favourite, and then once the favourite has grabbed a goal in the game, you will be able to cash out for some quick and easy profit. So the only situation here where if you're laying the draw, there is only very few situations where you won't actually get a profit from the match. That can either be the underdog taking the lead, so the draw actually becomes the more favoured result, or it could be the game just actually ending in a draw. So when it comes to the game actually ending in a draw, this is the whole point in this strategy. We're going to try and find a way to make sure that if the game does end in a draw, we don't lose all of our stake. So the best way to do that is to also back the correct score of the draw. So if we come over here to the correct score market, I'll have to use a different selection of match because that one wasn't available for that game. But if we come over to the correct score market, you have these options to go with. So you can either go with the 0-0, the 1-1, the 2-2, the 3-3 even. But the chances are, upon looking at the statistics, the most likely draw outcome in a game is actually 1-1. So for the sake of this method, we're going to be looking at laying the draw and backing the 1-1 result. That means if the game ends with either team winning, you make a profit. If the game ends in a 1-1 draw, you still make a profit. That profit might only be a few pence if it ends up in a draw, but regardless of that, the way we calculate how much to put on for the 1-1, you shouldn't be losing any money if it does end up being a draw. There are still scenarios obviously here where you could lose money. If the game ends 0-0, you're not going to make any money and you'll lose your liability. If the game ends 2-2, now when it ends 2-2, I'd still say there should be a point in that game where you will have made money, because like I said with Betfair trading, we're not waiting for the final result, we wait for certain events to happen in the game and then you get some profit. So if the game's ended 2-2, at one point the favourite will have been ahead, or the favourite might have been getting back into the game, or the underdog was 2-0 up. At all them different points, you will have been able to cash out for profit. So we don't need to worry too much about 2-2 or even 3-3. I'd say the only real result here, which means you don't get a profit, or in fact you lose money, is the 0-0 scoreline. So if you would prefer to do that, you could back 0-0 exactly the way I'm going to show you guys how we backed 1-1. It's completely up to you which of them two you'd rather go for, but I would much rather back 1-1, just because if a goal goes in, laying the draw can still not be an ideal strategy. You need the right team to score. So I would advise using the backing 1-1 method, but if you would prefer to back 0-0, there is no issues with that at all. So just to show you guys here then a live example of the trade. So I did this with the West Brom Arsenal game a few days ago. So I went and put my trade on and I laid the draw over here, and again, if you are new to this, I do prefer to go in with smaller stakes. I'm not like all the other Betfair traders you'll see on YouTube where they go in with £250, £300, £500. I go in with £10, £20, £30 because I am, like I said, a beginner and I'm not going to risk money here or use a huge amount of money to show you an unrealistic return. I'm showing you guys what you can get if you put in maybe £30, £40, £50. Sometimes less than that. So hopefully you appreciate that for these trades. So you can see here I was just looking to see at what point we could get the liability down to be within my balance, because you can see my balance up there isn't the highest. So I just went with a £7 back in the end, I believe. And you can see, actually no, I went down to 5. So we backed at £5 over there, and you can see backing £5 means we put £33 worth of liability into it. So if the game ended 0-0 at this point, or ended in any sort of draw, at this point we would lose £33. If Arsenal took the lead, we'd probably get around £3-ish on instant cash out. If West Brom took the lead, then we'd be looking at a loss to start with. But another thing, if you are a brand new trader when it comes to Betfair trading, you should never be losing your full liability. So we've got £33 in there. If it looked like the trade was going badly and it stayed 0-0 for a very long time, we would know at what point to exit the market. I do talk about that a bit more on the laying the draw video itself. So if you want to learn more about the actual strategy of laying the draw, go back and give that video a watch because it'll be very helpful. But what we're going to do after we've laid our draw is we're then going to come over to the correct scores market, which you can see over here. We've got the correct score market. And what you then need to work out when you back 1-1 in the correct score market is you need to work out how much profit you need to make on that trade to be able to equal out any loss. So we know from before that we had £33 worth of liability. So if the game ends 1-1, we want to be winning or earning £33 at least from that trade so we can break even if we lost our whole stake. So you can do that very easily by just kind of hovering around, entering different stake amounts. I don't know if there's a quicker way to do it, but it doesn't take too long to get it worked out. So you can see here, if I put in £2.20 for back in the 1-1, you can see our winnings for a 1-1 draw would end up being £33.42. So if the game ends 1-1, we lose £33 on laying the draw, but we win £33.42 on the 1-1. But that also goes the other way. This isn't free. We're not doing this for nothing. You can see this is costing us £2.20. So if the game doesn't end in a draw, yes, we'll win £4.90 or however much we cash out for at the time, but you need to remember that you're getting £4.90 minus that £2.20. So the most you could win doing this, if one team went on to win and you didn't cash out throughout the whole thing, would be £2.70. £2.70 off a £33 liability and a £2.20 backing stake is around an 8% return. Now, when I do Betfair trading personally, I always aim for a 10% return, but the fact that this is an 8% return off a trade where you've actually got insurance included in that, it's not too bad of a return at all. So about 15 minutes in the game here, as you can see down in the bottom right, a goal went in, and it's the perfect situation for laying the draw. The favourite took the lead, which is always what you want to see. So you could see here at this point, if you were doing laying the draw just as a normal strategy, you would probably just cash out at this point, depending on how the game was going, but it's a quick instant profit, so you'd probably just cash out. But you can't really do that when you're using your insurance policy, because you're not going to get as much profit once you've got that stake in the correct score market. So you need to kind of hold on a little bit longer than what you would normally. Plus, at the end of the day here, Arsenal have took the lead. If the next situation that will happen, it will either be Arsenal grabbing another, which is perfect as well, because that then increases your cash out odds, or it might be that West Brom come back into it and get one themselves. If that happens, then you're okay, because you've got the 1-1 covered as well. So either way, it doesn't hurt to hold on in this situation. Now, if you wanted to, you could cash out on the laying the draw market and then also go and cash out on the correct score market as well. You would still have some profit there if you just wanted to quickly get out. So that's always an option there as well. It doesn't completely remove that chance. It just, you need to calculate that as it goes. So then, around about the 43rd minute, Arsenal grabbed a second, which is obviously great. So you can see that got us up to £3.92 worth of profit out of a potential £4.90 worth of profit. And then if we look over on the correct score market, you can see obviously it was done, because we could no longer have the 1-1 draw anymore. That was it, done. So we'd lost the £2.20 on the correct score market, but we've got £3.82 available on the laying the draw if we cashed out. So you can work out there how much profit there is available if you wanted to just cash out. Now at this point, you should cash out. Without a doubt, at this point, it's time to get out of the market, because if West Brom get one back, a draw might look a little bit more likely. You're not going to get as much profit. And then if West Brom somehow do the unthinkable and grab a second one back as well, then you're in quite a lot of trouble, because the draw is then looking really likely and you don't have any insurance anymore. The 1-1 is out the window. So that is one of the disadvantages of this strategy. But as you can see here, 2-0 up, I was happy to cash out at this point. But as I was about to cash out and ready to confirm it, Arsenal grabbed a third, which is obviously always a nice little bonus, because then that just pushes your cash out straight up yet again. So at this point, it was £4.19 worth of profit if we cashed out. Obviously take away the £2.20, but £4.19 guaranteed. I thought even somehow, if God knows how it would happen, but West Brom always have that chance of getting back into it. So in this situation, it's always better just to take the instant profit. That amount there, it's not worth the risk. I know it's only a few pence, between £4.90 and £4.20, but it's not worth the potential loss if West Brom somehow did get back into it. So in this situation here, I cashed out my profit, and we actually ended up, after everything was confirmed, getting £4.60 guaranteed, and then £8.22 if West Brom somehow got back into it. Obviously we know West Brom didn't get back into it, but that was still a very nice return. 30 pence off, we were out by half time, and it was a successful little strategy. We obviously didn't need the insurance for this trade. It didn't end up being a 1-1 draw, but you can see how that would be a nice little extra added bonus, a bit more of another layer of protection there in case the game did end up being a draw. So it's always handy to have. Would I recommend doing this? Honestly, yes, because an 8% return might not be incredible, but if you're like me and just aim for roughly the 10%, then getting insurance added on to your trade and only costing a potential 2% of your profit, then all the time you're going to take that option. You're not going to worry about it. You're ready to get that bonus in. So in the end, with that trade, we made £2.40 worth of profit from a stake total of £35.01. So it wasn't an 8% return, it was more 6.8%, so 7% return. So a 7% return isn't the best return I've ever had. Obviously, it's not the worst though, and the fact that we were still getting a 7% return even with the insurance there as well, is always a nice, simple bit of protection, like I was saying. Now, of course, this strategy can still go wrong. A game can still end 0-0, a game can end 2-2, 3-3, anything can happen. Depending on which order the goals go in, you might be at a loss. It's obviously always best judged depending on how the game's going. So if you believe there's a chance the underdog might get back into the game, or if you believe the game might end 0-0, you need to evaluate the position you're in at that trade to decide whether it's worth staying in the market or getting out the market. But if you were adamant of sticking with the laying the draw strategy, adding this extra layer of protection is always just a nice little bonus. So if you enjoyed the video, please be sure to hit the like button and subscribe if you're new. Let me know down in the comments if you've got any other insurance strategies for trades like laying the draw, or how you in fact use your laying the draw trade. And also let me know if you've got any other just random trades you like to do. It doesn't have to be related to laying the draw, it can be absolutely anything. Let me know down below and I'll give it a look and might do a video on it as well. But thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.